Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Miyamoto Musashi, The Book of Five Rings, 1645. It's April 13th, 1612. Ganryū Island, Japan. Sasaki Kojiro, the most feared swordsman in Western Japan, has been waiting for 3 hours. His second is pacing. The witnesses are restless. But Kojiro is past nervous. He's moved into something colder. Rage. Then a shape appears through the fog. Musashi steps off the boat, unhurried, almost bored. He isn't carrying a proper sword. He's carrying the oar he carved during the crossing. He's also late, deliberately, and he's still brushing rice from his hands. Kojiro screams. He throws his scabbard into the sea. Musashi glances at it, says quietly, "You've already lost. A man who throws away his scabbard has no intention of going home." Kojiro lunges. There's a blur. One strike. Musashi steps, pivots, brings the oar down. The duel lasted less than a second. You've never fought anyone on a foggy island at dawn with a carved oar. But you know what it feels like when your mind turns on itself. The email that wrecks your morning before 9 a.m. The conversation you're still replaying at 2 a.m. like it's on a loop. The moment someone says the wrong thing in a meeting, and you feel that heat rise in your chest, and you can't stop it, and you hate that you can't stop it. The chaos isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's just Tuesday. Here's what's actually happening when you spiral. There's a structure in your brain called the amygdala. It's ancient, older than language, older than reason. Its entire job is to scan for threats. And it is fast. Neuroscientists call it an amygdala hijack. Your brain detects a perceived danger and floods your body with cortisol before your prefrontal cortex, the rational thinking part, even has time to respond. Heart rate climbs, vision narrows, reason goes offline. In 1612, that response kept you alive. In a Tuesday morning meeting, it makes you say things you spend the rest of the day regretting. The enemy isn't your boss. It isn't the traffic, the notifications, the news. The enemy is an untrained mind, one that can't tell the difference between a lion and a bad email, one that mistakes inconvenience for catastrophe, a mind that's never been taught to be still. That's what we're going to fix. The samurai didn't stumble into calmness. They trained for it with the same obsession they trained their sword arm. 2 concepts anchored everything. The first is Mushin. Mushin means no mind, not absent, not empty, clear. Like water so still you can see every stone at the bottom because nothing disturbs the surface. There's a story about Yagyu Munenori, master swordsman and advisor to 3 shoguns in the early 1600s. A gifted student once came to him frustrated, asking how much longer until mastery. Munenori watched him for a long moment and said, "You're gripping your sword like you're afraid to lose. That fear is the only thing slowing you down." The student didn't understand, so Munenori took his sword away and handed him a broom. Sweep the courtyard, every day, for a month. No sword, no training, just sweeping. When the student returned, something had shifted. The sword felt lighter, not because his arms got stronger, but because he stopped thinking about the sword. Here's the detail most people don't know. Munenori wrote a text called the Heiho Kadensho in 1632, officially a sword manual that spent more pages on psychology and inner state than on any physical technique. He believed the sword was just a mirror, that what you were always really fighting was your own mind. Mushin in modern life looks like this. You're in a difficult conversation, and instead of half listening while you rehearse your rebuttal, you just listen. You're not managing the situation, and you're inside it, present. Decisions made from that state are almost always better. Not because you thought harder, because you thought cleaner. The second concept is Fudoshin, the immovable mind. Not stubbornness, not detachment, rootedness. The storm bends the tree stays in the ground. Date Masamune, the one-eyed daimyo of Sendai, one of the most powerful warlords of 16th century Japan, lost his right eye to smallpox at age 4. He survived betrayals from within his own clan, assassination attempts, and political warfare that ended lesser men. When asked once how he had endured it, he said something that translates roughly as, "Disasters come from the mouth. Silence is the foundation of strategy." Fudoshin in your life sounds like this. Your flight gets cancelled. The project falls through. Someone you trusted lets you down. The untrained mind catastrophizes, assigns blame, burns energy on what's already gone. The Fudoshin response is to absorb the impact, actually feel it, not suppress it, and then ask one question. What can I do right now? Not from numbness, from ground. So how do you actually build this? 3 practices. Each one comes directly from samurai and Zen tradition, not as historical relics, but as tools that work. The first, die before you fight. Samurai in the Edo period practiced a meditation where they visualized their own death in full detail before any significant encounter. A duel, a negotiation, a confrontation. They let themselves mentally die before anything was at stake. Modern psychology has a name for this: negative visualization. What it does neurologically is remove the amygdala's element of surprise. The threat has already been processed. The hijack doesn't trigger. Practice it like this. Before any high-pressure situation, take 2 minutes. Imagine the worst outcome, fully, without flinching. Accept it. Then, walk in. The second, the one-breath reset. Zen monks trained in deep breathing anchored 2 inches below the navel. Modern research on the vagus nerve confirms what they already knew. A slow, controlled exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Cortisol drops. Your prefrontal cortex comes back online. It takes under 90 seconds. One breath, taken on purpose. In the elevator. In the parking lot. In the 5 seconds before you respond to something that made your blood pressure spike. That's it. That's the whole practice. The third, deliberate discomfort. Samurai trained in cold, hunger, physical exhaustion, not to suffer, but to teach their nervous system that discomfort is survivable. Distress tolerance, modern psychologists call it. The practice. Once a day, do something mildly uncomfortable on purpose. Cold shower. Sit with an uneasy feeling without reaching for your phone. Skip the thing you'd usually use to escape. Small exposures, consistently. Over time, your baseline threshold for chaos rises. The things that used to knock you sideways start to feel like weather. Something you move through, not something that moves you. After the duel, witnesses said Musashi walked back to the boat without looking at Kojiro's body. He didn't celebrate. He didn't speak. He sat down, was rowed back across the water, and by the time the shoreline came into view, he was already somewhere else in his mind. People have spent 4 centuries debating whether he was ruthless or enlightened. I think they're asking the wrong question. The point isn't that Musashi had no fear. It's that he had built something in himself that fear couldn't get a foothold on. He didn't find calmness, he constructed it, repetition by repetition, year by year, until chaos simply had less room to land. You're not a samurai, you don't need to be. But the chaos is real, it's not going anywhere. And you can keep being at its mercy, or you can start building something inside that holds. The mind is trainable. That's the whole secret. That's all it ever was.